Hello everyone and welcome to the September garden tour. Today we're going to take a look at the garden again and see how everything is looking. We were away for a little bit and had to do a lot of cleanup in the garden since the last garden tour, but it's fine, things are looking much nicer now. And I also have a big announcement to make, and I will talk a bit more about that at the end of this video after I finish showing you guys around. So we'll start here at the backyard today. Things are looking a little different than last time. I did a lot of cleanup and bought some things over. The Greenstocks are looking okay. They suffered without us here on vacation. The things in containers usually tend to dry out a lot faster when you're not watering them and everything. The raised beds are okay. I did do a big cleanup on them, and the dahlias are finally starting to bloom. So we're gonna start here this side. The dahlias didn't do as well as I wanted this year, but that's all right. They're finally trying to pick up a little bit now, but not nearly as much as I wish. I'm trying to not cut the blooms so they can look a little nicer here. And this Cornell bronze is doing okay. So far is the dahlia that has the most amount of blooms on it, so that's very nice. Lots of them are just beginning to open, and then there's some that have been here for a little bit and starting to show up its center, but that's really nice. I really like that color for the dahlia. I also have the Ferncliff Spice in here. This one is very cute. It has, you can see in two different stages in here, just about to open, and this one has been open for a little while. After they're open for a while, they start showing their centers and try to make seeds, especially at this time of the year. But I had to clean up a lot of dahlias in here because lots of them had broken and fell and are looking brown. So this side's looking a little bare. We have some morning glories here that I did not plant. These guys come back every year, even though I tried to pull them, and once I went on vacation they kind of took over, but they're looking nice over there now, so I'm just going to let them be. And here on this other side for the dahlias, just this Labyrinth is blooming. This dahlia did well. It's been blooming since June, I think, or July. I love this one. Look how beautiful she look. The name is Labyrinth, in case I said too fast last time. I love this variety. She has lots of new buds, but once I left too, lots of the leaves started curling like this. When I came back, I noticed that a lot on the dahlias, and I read that can be heat stress, and obviously I was not watering when I was here and it was very hot. So they're still doing this curling thing, and hopefully it's okay. I plan to dig out these tubers to plant them for next year, so hopefully they'll still make some good tubers for us, even though didn't have lots of flowers. All the ones here haven't really flowered much yet. The ones in the middle, I have 3 or 4 varieties in here. And this one here that I planted on the pot, this is called Kilgai Ann. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at this. It's supposed to be more like a water lily form, but she's opening more single, which is fine. Maybe she's stressed also, but I still think it's very pretty. It has lots of blooms on that one. And that one is in a container because I planted later. It was a cutting, and I put it on this 10-gallon grow bag, and it's doing pretty good for being a grow bed. So I am very pleased with the results of this one, and I'm leaving the blooms in the plant too, just to bring a little cheerfulness to our backyard garden. Right here on the side of the pear tree, you have lots of pears, but the squirrels are eating them like crazy. I keep finding like half-eaten pears everywhere. I did harvest some, not many, and some of them are getting a little damaged. I don't know what those things are, but when I came, they were loaded when I came back from vacation, and within like a week, the squirrels just worked in eating most of them. Lots of them also fell. There's some here, and I gotta clean that up, but I didn't get to eat as many pears this year as I thought we would, because the plant did a little better than the past years. It still got sick, still got that rust that I always get, but not as bad as the last 3 years, but that's all right. Below here, we have all these little pots. They're doing okay. There's an eucalyptus in there, some herbs. Everything is doing fine. They did okay with us being gone. The peony in here that Eileen gave to me is doing great as well. The butterfly bush is also doing good. I have them too in here this time. The roses, I put it here in the shade so they would survive the time we're not here, and they're doing good. They grew a lot. while we were gone. That's very nice. And we have that little bee that cut, you know, the leaves. I forgot the name, leaf cutter bee or something like that. And I think it's very cute. Even though she's, you know, doing that to the roses, I don't mind because there's just plenty of leaves in here. And the salvia is doing okay there too. The Greenstock here, I tried to clean up good. Lots of things died while we were gone, but then I have a bunch of volunteer stuff. I think this is dill. I don't remember if I sowed these seeds or if it fell from a plant that I had somewhere, but I don't remember if having dill up there. It looks like carrots, but I didn't put carrot seeds in there, so we'll see what that's going to turn out to be. There's some more in here as well. Some radishes that I did sow before I left, and they're looking pretty good. Some of them are huge already. Gotta harvest those guys. And here I cut out the tomato plants. No more tomatoes. They're not doing great, so I took them out. Put little mulch here on this container. This is just some dried stuff that I had inside the house, and I just put in there. I think it's lemongrass that I had in a jar that was a little old, and I put it there as mulch. The basil is still doing really good. Basil is doing great. The shiso is doing great. I'm gonna let them be. I've been harvesting, but now I think I'm gonna let it go to seed to get some seeds from the shiso. We'll see. And then the turmeric, I bought it here to this side. Got it from the plot and put it here back with us. It's looking really big and beautiful. We're just in Brazil, and makes me think of all the tropical plants I saw there, and I love it. Love having it around us here. And the turmeric, I'm only gonna harvest once it dies back, so I'll let it. Try to let it live as long as it can, so it can produce lots of turmeric for us this year. But it's looking so healthy. I love it. It's very nice. Much bigger than the ones I grew last year. And over here on this side, I cut most of everything that was in that planter. This planter here too had a lot of dead things, but I direct sowed something. So I put some radish in here that already has sprouted. This is watermelon radish. Have a little volunteer strawberry that came from us. Runner, another one here. Some arugula that I actually threw some seeds in here too before I left. Oh, there's a little ladybug in there with some maybe dill, or this could be a carrot because I did plant with carrot seeds. I don't know, actually. This is a new planter. Not sure, probably dill. Another watermelon radish that's sprouting over there. Some of the broccoli that I cut is trying to come back. These guys. Funny how much are resilient they are. And there's more arugula down there, some kale. Most of the kale died other than these two guys, so I'm leaving them so we can keep eating and harvesting. This one I cut, and it's sending out these little nice little shoots, which I'm gonna use as baby kale leaves, which is good. The beans, lots of them didn't germinate, and the ones that did, I have one here I could harvest, but it's very small. And his plants are doing okay. Not so big as I thought it would be or got in the past. There's another plant in here that hasn't produced anything yet. Here we have the peppers that my friend Yosa gave us. So this is the pimenta palmeira. Hopefully we're gonna get it red and harvest some good amount from them. There's lots of them in the plant, but they're planted a little later, so they're all still green. And there's a basil plant with that, and another sour Thai basil here. I planted a lot of this in the garden this year. And another pepper. This one, my friend Yosa also gave to me, but he didn't know the name. But it's very tasty. I've been eating this a lot, actually. When we came back, had a lot of fruit in the plant that was already red. And I've been harvesting, cooking with it. It's sweet, actually, not a hot pepper, but it's perfect to just add to stir fries and soups and top the bowls that I make, with give it a little color. So that's very nice. And the pepper Greenstock is doing okay. It revived pretty well when I came. All these plants were super dry and droopy, and I thought they're all going to die, but I kept watering them, and they're coming back. I mean, they're not super healthy. The leaves are still a little yellow, but it's hard when they're not been watered for over 2 weeks. So I think it's still a win to have them the way it is. And I have cut some of the ones that are completely dead, but I gotta come in and harvest these guys. They're starting to shrivel already, so I'm going to probably dry those. Those are the Brazilian pepper, the dedo de moça. They are sweet pepper too, not spicy. There's some of the pimento peppers, some of the puma peppers, some jalapenos in here. The leaves are getting a little yellow, but it's all right because It's getting to the end of the season anyway, but I really liked the pepper experiment on the Greenstock this year. And there's a squash in here that I skipped. It was full of powdery mildew. I cut the bottom leaves and tried to leave it in there to see what happened. We did harvest the fruit just a few days ago, and now it's sending. There's another male flower in here, and I think I see a baby female somewhere in there. But it's probably not gonna have a lot of time anymore to produce as much. But I'm leaving in there since it's healthy and was able to fight off the powdery mildew. And up there, I'm not gonna go up there. I clear all the Greenstock, most of it, so just left a little bit on the bottom, but it's all cleared up. And then there's not a lot of plants in there anymore, just those couple, those over there, plus that, which are just chives, citronella, and a little rudbeckia in there. And here I have a few things I started for the fall, and we'll see how they would do. I have some purple sprouting broccoli, some garlic chives that haven't germinated yet, some cilantro, and some spinach. I plan to overwinter these two. I think it's too late to start them to try to get a fall harvest, but usually those guys overwinter well, so I'm going to try to overwinter for a very early spring harvest, and we'll see what's going to happen. And these are going to go in the empty pockets of the Greenstocks. Okay, so that's it for the backyard. Let's go take a walk to the plot now. We are at the plot with this beautiful morning light. We're gonna take a look at how everything is doing here too. And I must say that I don't have some very good news into our rodent problem while we were gone. They did a lot more borers than I was battling with before we left. So the truth is about the rat situation here in New York is that they never left the garden. I worked really hard while we were here before we went on vacation to harass the burrows and do everything that I learned to do on that Rat Academy training that I got from the city. But man, it was a daily battle. I had to be here constantly to show my presence, and kept putting a lot of effort into keeping everything clean and just, harassing them every time I was here. But since I was gone, they kind of took place again, and I am so tired of having to deal with them. So I hope that I don't see any now. This morning, it's very early in the morning. Every time that I come here this time, usually I see them still, because they're kind of crazy here in New York. They still kind of, walk around even during the day. But let's hope for the best, that you guys don't have to see any here in the video. I'm going to be quick and show you guys around, and we can maybe talk about this rodent problem a little bit more in a different video after. Okay, the entrance of the garden is never the prettiest on this side. It looks a little ugly. It always gets better once we get to there. But here's the area where I have been having problem with the rodents, and I'll show you guys the burrow. That's a big one right over there by the sidewalk, and there's a few more in the back there. I've been closing the ones here. I even found some in there. Just, my goodness, so much work to try to keep them out of this garden. And here is how the garden is looking overall. The sunflowers that were not as big last time on the August garden tour have already bloomed. My friend Aubrey came here and cut all of them. But I'll put a picture of the flowers in here so you guys can see how they looked when they were blooming. And here I have some of the florets. This is the unicorn mix that I'm trying to leave here now to save seed from. Look how beautiful they're looking now later in the season. Much nicer than in the beginning. At least this patch here, the unicorn. And I'm gonna let them age. This is how they look like when they're fully double. They start like this, then go like this, then go like this. This will be a good to cut, maybe a little too old already. And then they will eventually fade and be ready to save seed from. I just watched the floret seed saving course, and she said to wait until they get fully brown to harvest this for seed. So we're gonna wait for that. Hopefully we have time for this season. They're taking a long time to mature, but they sure look pretty in the garden. I have some more here on this side. This one is a bad example how you want to do it for save seed. They got fully brown and dried in here. These guys are almost getting there. This is the alpenglow, and they are almost getting all fully brown too. And she said you should wait until this part gets brown too for the best seed, so we're gonna wait for that. I do love coming here in the morning though. I love this soft morning light. Too bad those rats scared me out of the garden at my favorite time of the day to come here. But here on this side we have the peppers doing great. Didn't produce as much when we were gone, but I've been working and watering them well, and they look like they're coming back nice and plump. Some of them still look a little droopy, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. Those are the poblanos. They're getting very tall. We have a poblano pepper in there, and they took a long time to produce, but now seems like they're kind of going. There's lots of little fruit in here and lots of flowers, so it's still September. Let's see if we can get another flush from these guys. And here we have the scarlet runner beans looking nice. There's some beans here already. This guy I'm gonna let it dry and mature to get save seed from. There's lots of little ones. If you're going to harvest to eat, you'll probably harvest more at this stage when they're smaller, probably more tender as well. So they're looking good. Squash on this side and the red beans are not doing so great. This guy is dying. The squash actually died. I harvested the honey nut squash from here that we had. There's some more of the alpenglow zinnias in here that I'm also going to save for seed. Those are beautiful. I love this color. This is getting quite old, but we want to get older than that to fully turn brown. So we have some seed for next year. These seeds will be all open pollinated because they are all being pollinated by bees with all this other around, but that's fine. The color is similar enough that I think they're going to be okay. Will come back beautiful in its own way next year. And here, actually, let's come move to this side. I took out most of the tomatoes. They were looking horrible when I came back from vacation. The beans over there on the fence all died. And I left some of tomatoes here because they had some green fruit, but not much. And some there because they were looking kind of okay. Even though it's not going to produce fruit anymore, I should actually take it out. But taking the tomatoes and the beans out give more space for this dahlia to grow. And look at this beauty. This one is looking gorgeous. I love this one. Also leaving the blooms in the plants. I'm not cutting it anymore, just to add a little pop of color to the garden here, since these are looking a little scraggly with all the cleaning up that I did. And this one is the one that came back from last year. I left a tuber in there accidentally in the ground, and she just came back, so she overwintered fine here in our zone. And then on this side we have all the eggplant. Gosh, they do so good this year. There's so many. We ate a lot before we left, and there's still a lot more. Look at this for us to harvest, hopefully next week. I have these guys and that guy. This one is producing a lot right now. Super exciting. The light purple one, which has been the one that produced the most so far, is also still producing a lot. They have a lot of little ones in here. I just harvested a few big ones a couple days ago. And the fairy tale is finally starting to slow down, but there's still lots of fruit in them. My goodness, these guys are so prolific. And back here, the okra died. It's just this stake over here. Things didn't do very well over there. The marigold is kind of coming back to life a little bit. This eggplant here from Cornell is interesting. Look how small it is. It stayed this size. It started beautiful in green like this, and then just matured to green. I don't know, I haven't tried this yet. I'm leaving in the plant to see. And then there's this other one here that's also turning orange, and we'll see what tastes it. But the plant's looking very nice and tall, so that's good. This side here we have a little native patch back there. They're doing good. Have all these rudbeckia now. This black-eyed season, this variety is rudbeckia triloba, I think, triloba, and she is so beautiful. I love this one. I'm gonna grow a lot more of this next year. This is the bee balm that is covered in powder mildew. I'm going to see them, just letting it be. There's some milkweed back there that's finally kind of picking up, so we'll see what's going to happen in there. The eucalyptus in here is looking good, also overwintered and doing its thing there with very minimum care. I have some more dahlias in here, my leftover ones. And I need to come and label them because not all of these are labeled, and I do plan to come and pick up the tubers and save the tubers over the winter again. This beautiful one here, it's peaches and cream, which is one of my favorites. So it's hard to focus here with one hand. There you go. Beautiful, growing low down there, but that's all right. Growing this for the tubers mostly. And here we have the straw flowers. They are kind of all fading. I'm gonna save seed from some of these apricot ones. I have a little ribbon there, so I can save seed. It's okay if they cross with the other ones as well. There's some white ones in the back, some more sunflowers, but Aubrey also took the heads of these ones. And these beautiful beans, which is the best thing in this garden right now, in my opinion. I always wanted to have these trellises full. I never had it fully full, but only one half for me counts as a success this year. These long yard beans are doing amazing. They took a while to take off, but now they're producing lots. Oh, this one is really big. Lots of beans. I'm gonna take this one because actually should have been harvested a little sooner. The owners of the plot, Mike and his wife, are back and they've been harvesting these beans. I came yesterday and this was full of hanging beans. I can see they're not here anymore, so I'm sure they got it and it's okay. You know, it's their space, so I'm glad when they come here and harvest stuff for themselves. But they must have missed this one, and look how long and big this one is. I'll take this one for me to eat with my eggs for breakfast. And there's lots more in the middle, I think. Yeah, you can see some little ones. They're growing fast. Super happy about them, and they look super cool. And there's trellis over here. Okay, and I guess this will be it for this tour. We took a look at everything, and now it's time to let you guys know that this was actually the last garden tour here on this plot and on our backyard. Maybe I can do another one here in October if I'm able to come back, but Danny and I, my husband and I, are moving, and we'll be out of New York City. We're not moving too far, we're moving to the lower Hudson Valley, but I'm gonna make a whole video to talk about that because that's very exciting news and I want to share all of the details. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.